Hello guys, Dixon Amagove here again. Let's talk matters construction. So there's a picture I posted on a group called Builders and Co-Creators, and a picture of a ceiling called LAMU Style, and there are many people who are asking about it. How is it done? What is the procedure? What are the advantages? How is it designed? So the LAMU type of ceiling is just it's a ceiling like any other ceiling, but it's more of an aesthetic ceiling than a structural ceiling. So many people might confuse it with a slab to assume that it's actually taking the part of the slab, but it is just for aesthetic purposes. But in terms of design, it can be designed in two ways. It can be designed as a load bearing and as a non-load bearing type of a slab. But in most cases around the coast, if you have gone to Lamu, Malindi, Kilifi, those areas, you might find that in most buildings like hotels, they have that kind of ceiling in the hotels and rooms. So but in terms of the design, it can be designed in two ways. It can be designed to be a load bearing ceiling and a non-load bearing ceiling. So if you want to design it as a load bearing ceiling, you have to do it as a normal slab. You do it as a normal slab, and then you can have your aesthetics. But if you want to design it as a non-load bearing ceiling, you can just have the LAMU style, but you are not going to reinforce it. So the difference is that if you are doing it as a load bearing, you're going to reinforce it, and if you are doing it as a non-load bearing, you're not going to reinforce it. So but in terms of the design or how it is constructed, so the procedure is a bit complicated, but I'm going to try to break it down as simple as possible. So the first thing you do when you are doing the LAMU ceiling, you build there's a beam which you build. So the beam is going to be divided into three parts. We are going to have the first part, which we are going to cast. Like let's say if you have a beam of around 450, and you have divided it into three parts, that is 150, 150, 150. So we are going to have the first part, which we are going to cast. But remember, this time it's just a normal beam which is reinforced. So you are going to cast the first part. Then the second part, you are going to introduce the poles. So you're going to introduce the poles. You can space them at you can be not more than 1 meter. So you can space them at intervals of 1 meter or below, but depending also the size of pole that you are using for your project. So once you have arranged the poles and you have spaced them, the second thing that you are going to do, you are going to cast that part which the poles have occupied, so that the poles become intact. So you're going to cast, that is the second bit, you're going to cast all around so that the poles become intact. So after casting, the poles are now intact. Now we are remaining with the third part. Remember, we casted the first part, that is 150. You place the poles above that, the 150 layer that we casted, and then now we casted the layer that we have the pole. So we have casted like 300 part of the beam. Now we are remaining with 150. So once you have casted and the poles are intact at intervals of 1 meter, now what we are going to do is what we call